Good morning, Inspire and Illuminators. It's me, Jennifer Engel, CEO and founder of Inspire and Illuminate, which is me just making myself feel important by calling me CEO and founder of Inspire and Illuminate. I'm sure there's some people out there that are going to be like, yeah, Jen, you're just a teacher who has a bachelor degree. But you never know. I actually believe that if you say something over and over again, someday it will come true. So today's Jaunt with Jen is going to be more in-depth detail about the quote, the meaning behind the quote, some tips behind the quote that I posted this morning about establishing healthy habits. You know, I think one reason why I like to be a teacher is because teachers live by a schedule. Literally, they live by a bell. Now, it's kind of funny and not funny all at the same time. It's a very, very serious book. But there is a quote by Elie Wiesel in the novel Night. Say, when I live in a world, I dream of living in a world without bells. But for me, I like structure, I like schedule, I like routine. Now, there are some times when too much structure can put stress on me. For example, just holding people in a building, till a certain time seems a little silly to me if we have all of our work done. But anyway, for the most part, I really like structure and routine. What I do with my quotes is I sit and I think over the last 24 hours, either interactions with myself or interactions with others, and then I come up with the quote. And this morning, I sat down to plan my summer schedule. You see, I never used to do that for a long time. And you would think that teachers, me, would be so excited to have their summer off and to have no schedule and just do whatever you want. And I found that there was about a week or two where that was true, and then I would get bored. And boredom, for me, leads to depression. And I would think to myself, why on earth am I getting depressed that I have nothing to do? But I do think that that's part of the point. As humans, we like to feel useful. And if we don't feel useful, that can also lead to depression. So this morning I was sitting down, coming up with my summer routine. And that's also a bonus point too. So many times people sit around waiting for someone to tell them what to do, when really you have inside of you everything that you need to create a routine and a habit, and how you can use your own skills and talents to first help yourself and then help those around you. So I build my schedule around my top 3 priorities. Basically my purpose, my work, health, and friends and family. Those are my top 3 things that are the most important to me. So I build my schedule around that. And as a bonus, I was listening to one of the people in my life, one of my sons. He and I have one of the same goals, some of the same purposes, health. And so when I was coming up with my schedule, I decided that that's like a double bonus, a win-win. I can spend time with him and incorporate into my schedule time when he and I can both work on our health. Now, originally I had signed up for a community gym, but he was disappointed because he couldn't actually participate in that gym. And so rather than me going to this one community gym, what we're going to do is there's a gym he can be a part of, or a fitness center. So I'm going to cancel one membership and get another membership. So now I have a double bonus. One of my main priorities is health. And now I get to work on my health with one of my main people priorities. My sons, my family. And so that's great. Even though I might be a little bit uncomfortable because it's not a gym I might be comfortable with, the point is it covers the health, it covers the fitness, it covers time with my family. So it's okay to get a little uncomfortable or comfortable in the uncomfortable. So, you know, the sun rises, the sun sets, the seasons change. I'm going to do a little side segue here. I cannot believe it. I'm out taking my walk, and there's literally frost on the ground. It's cold here in Illinois this morning. Frost on the ground, the lakes are steaming. You would never know it's going to be June tomorrow. Anyway, I digress. The sun rises, which it's doing right now. It sets, the seasons change. And sure, there might be some flexibility in regard to exact timing, or there may be, for example, frost on the ground just before June. But for the most part, Mother Nature has a routine, has a cycle. It's a little flexible, you know, but she follows it. And I believe we're supposed to be a reflection of Source. And so I think that we should also establish and follow healthy habits and routines. Now, the first reason why we do this is for ourselves. I first started understanding this around 2014 and 15 when I was recovering from cancer. Even during chemotherapy, during radiation, after the double mastectomy, I realized that by first starting small, again, I always talk about puzzle pieces. Start small and increase it over time. You don't have to develop this big, huge schedule for the whole day if that's not you. If it is you, cool. Keep doing that. But you can start with just, 3 to 5 healthy habits that you do every morning without fail. Because, as I think I said yesterday, it's those healthy habits. They're not necessarily meant to be put in place to have you do wonderful things and achieve this great thing throughout the day. They're really in place, if you can kind of think about it. I know there's, with technology, there's fewer keys, and now there's a push button in our cars. It's kind of almost like the push button that just gets the car started, so it will actually move. And by putting these things on autopilot into our subconscious, this is what helped me on the really, really rough days. If I can just do these 3 things, no matter how much I didn't want to, no matter how much I had a coach in my head saying, that's another thing that's very helpful. I pulled up a coach from my consciousness or a drill sergeant. Sometimes the drill sergeant or coach isn't always very nice to me. It's like, come on, get out of bed. You can do this. Get that foot on the floor. So if you need motivation, say I call up the coach from my consciousness, or I call up the drill sergeant from my consciousness, and see if you don't actually hear that little voice in your head. So, and there were days in my life, not many thankfully, but I literally had to crawl to the bathroom to get into the tub, but I did it. So, on the days that are the most difficult, having these healthy habits and routines is like the push button on a car or the key in the ignition. The point is to get us going. And even if you can only do 1 or 2 things on your list and you have to crawl back into bed, at least you'll feel like, at least I did that. And that will make you feel better than if you did nothing at all. And even in a better light, if you actually are able to do the 1, the 2, the 3, the 5 things, you might actually find that the car, your energy, your body, your mind starts to feel better. And you actually do start rolling along, and now you are able to get more out of your day. Okay? So, having these healthy habits and routines not only save me from boredom, they save me from depression. And now, with the patience and the practice that I talked about yesterday, for years now, what was that, 2014, 2015, now it's 2021, heading toward 2022, I don't have depressing days anymore. And now I'm able to accomplish so much more during my day, and I feel so much joy for the most part during my day because I'm rolling along, I'm focused, I know where I'm going, I'm helping other people. But again, be patient. It takes practice. You know, it took me that many years to get to this point. And again, I think I described it yesterday as like opening up a 1,000-piece puzzle box, and you just deal with a piece at a time until finally you have the whole picture. Now, some people might, well, a couple things. Number one, I always tell people, and I mean this with the utmost respect. I actually have so much respect for people who have autism. And as another disclaimer, I'm not claiming that all autistic people are this way, but I tell people I'm getting more autistic the older I get. I don't like too much sensory, and I like my habits and I like my routines. Now the thing is, we do need to have some balance. Have your habits, have your routines, but you need to be a little bit flexible so that you don't totally break. Okay? So I might have habits, I might have routines, but they are a little bit flexible so that I don't totally break and become discombobulated if I can't have them. But I would find that for the most part, 98% of the time, 95%, I'm able to have my habits and my routines. And I might even be unapologetic about it. Because we do need to take care of ourselves first so that we're happy, healthy, and functional. And then when we are, then that can spread to others around us. One last thought about establishing habits and routines. Some people are afraid because they're like, well, isn't that boring? Doing the same thing over and over every day. It is true if we are too much into habit, although it depends on the person and the personality, that it could lead to stagnation, limiting beliefs, things like that. That's why you need to be flexible. And I would also say, throw in some splashes of spontaneity. Okay? So, daily habits can save us from boredom, save us from depression. They can get us motivated and moving. They can make us feel some sort of accomplishment and purpose, which increases our self-confidence. But we also need a little bit of flexibility so we don't break. A lot of times I found that God or Source will send people to me that need to talk or whatever, and I need to be flexible enough to listen to them. Okay? Or opportunities might come up, and if you don't take them, you're missing them. So be flexible so you don't break. And you can either schedule splashes of spontaneity, like a trip or something like that. And a lot of times I find that the universe plans splashes of spontaneity for me, which is why I need to be flexible so that I do not break. I hope that this message has helped someone today so that you can use your own daily habits and routines to first help yourself and then help others around you. Because now, more than ever, the world needs it and it needs you. Peace and blessings.